If youz boys be wanting the best the Mekboyz can come up with, then youz needs to be getting your hands on this here vehicle. This vehicle's got loads of guns for extra shooty, and the bullets is explosive, they goes boom into things what you've shooting. And it's got the spikes on the side for killing them oomies. Got loads of guns on the front for more shooty, and then you can fit your boys in the insides, ready to jump out and get them oomies when they least expect. So if you boys be wanting the best vehicles the Mekboyz got to offer, youz needs to get your hands on the TRAKKTA.
What's up guys, welcome to Wasted Space, and I couldn't help myself. For some reason with today's build I got totally carried away. I was originally intending on doing a video talking about the wheel mechanics because they've changed a huge amount in the last patch. But as you can see, I got a little bit distracted, as I often did, and ended up doing a kind of theme build. So, having seen a little bit of what it's all about, let me give you a quick walk around. Obviously, I'm very pleased with how it looks. I wasn't expecting to be able to get a very orky look out of Space Engineers, and I think I've done alright. Perhaps could have been a bit better, but it's a good start. And we'll head round to the back, and I'll give you a little look around the inside. So first things first, we'll hit this to open the door, and because that's a little bit slow, although I am quite pleased with how tight it fits, give you a little look underneath as well, because I spent a while making sure even the underneath of this kind of looked like it should, and all around the wheel wells look like they should on the inside. It's all supported like it should be, and hopefully that also means it's nice and protected, because obviously there's a lot of heavy armour involved in this, as you probably noticed. And we come inside, and before I show you anything else, I'll just jump up and kick off with the turret, because I am very pleased with the turret, and kind of it's got something that I've done differently this time that I think is a very neat way of doing things. So let me just get into this seat, which is a little bit of a pain to access, and we got quite a nice view from the front seat. Quite pleased again with how this looks. Our co-pilot over there, who would be the man manning the turret, but in this case we're just going to jump in, and it's got a remote control on it, so we're going to take control of it like that, and we can jump into this outside view, and we're now controlling that turret. And if I turn this on, you'll notice we've got connector controls on the bar. Whoops. And we've also got, if we grab the camera out, we have a camera on the front, so just to help us aim and position things. But it's the connector on the back that I'm kind of pleased with, because the problem with building small ship turrets is in order to connect them up, normally you have to use an advanced rotor. A connector doesn't fit particularly well with a turret design, and the advanced rotors are massive. They have big doors on them, and then to connect up to them you need to use massive cargo containers as well, and so the turrets end up huge. Whereas with this one, as you can see, I've managed to kind of line it up so that even though these things really shouldn't be connecting, they are, but as soon as I've undone it, we've got plenty of range of movement. So you see, I can actually aim quite a long way up, and then if we turn round to the sides, I can aim even further up. We've got more clearance underneath. But at the same time, any time we want, we can bring the turret, and I'm quite pleased with this turret motion. You know, it's quite smooth and easy to use, very easy to aim at whatever you were wanting to, especially from this view. But anytime we're wanting, we can, oops, I didn't mean to do that, let's jump back in. Anytime we're wanting, we can get it into this position, lower the rear end down, turn on the connector, which is off because you can see it has a magnetic effect on it, we don't want that while we're using the turret, and lock ourselves in, and then we're in position to be fully reloaded and rearmed. As you can see, we've got access to all the cargo containers, and then this itself has a very small amount of cargo storage on it. So the idea is you could contain enough ammo for a combat on here, and then during or after that combat, you can lock yourself back into position for a very quick reload without needing to have an enormous bulky turret. The other thing with this turret is this ship's been designed to work in natural gravity. There are no mass on here. It's all been balanced to work with NG and what will be the gravity on planets. So that means with turrets like this, you now have to balance them. If you want them to perform properly, these need to be properly balanced. So you'll see that there's almost a funny protrusion with the camera on the front, which looks kind of cool, but is also primarily there to balance out the whole design so that when I let go of the mouse, it stays like that and doesn't want to tip backwards. So that's the turret, and again, I'm kind of pleased with it. In fact, let's just, given we're in the turret, we should jump in here, grab the weapons, go into the camera, and just have a shoot at something. Oh, Maverick's train is a little bit too convenient over there. Sorry, Maverick. So yeah, and then, yeah, it looks pretty cool down the camera, as you would expect, nice and easy to use. So let's get out of this and jump into the driver's seat now and go for a little spin. So Again, this is remote control because I wanted to use the passenger seat. So you need to go in, truck control, control that, and then I'm kind of pleased with how this handles. I know that there is a little bit of issue when you're stationary with the front wheels kind of wobbling around more than they should. But as soon as you get moving, that's all good. We've got the plough on the front, which of course can be raised more to act as a shield for the cockpit than anything else. All while this is up, you've got more protection in the cockpit than you would do otherwise. You can see that sort of blocking our view a bit, but also giving us protection. And then at the point at which you need to clear something out the way, and that was mainly the thinking with this, was if you're in a massive battle barge like this sort of thing, you've got guys shooting out of these gun slits in the side, which I'll show you shortly, you're not going to want to be stopping because there's a wreck of a car in the way. So instead of doing any of that stopping malarkey, let's put a plough on the front and move those cars out the way. In fact, someone's conveniently left a bunch of cars over there. So just as a quick demonstration rather than a test, because of course I've charged this thing around and ploughed through God knows how much stuff already. Let's just go and give this an action over on these. And of course you have the option with this plough, once you're underneath something, you can also use it to lift. But in this case, these things are not going to weigh very much in comparison to our 250 kilos, 250,000 kilos. We have taken a little bit of damage to the ram, but I'm sure we've dealt more than we took, and we've gone straight through, and the vehicle itself is unharmed. Notice as well that the rotors haven't broken. I'm quite pleased with the fact that the forces seem to be able to keep up with this. So handles quite well, doesn't steer super quickly. You could lean the back wheels in a little bit further to help with that. We could probably also close the rear door, that might help a little bit, but happy enough with how it handles, and all with vehicles in Space Engineers are now so much better than they used to be. But finally, let's stop ourselves here, put the handbrake on, and I'll just give you a quick sort of tour of the interior. So the idea down here was, at the front we've got passenger seats, we've got room for 6 people in here, and you've also got, in the floor I kind of incorporated something that's nicked from tank design. So the idea is, if you're under combat fire, what you do not want to be doing is exiting out the top or exiting out the back or anything like that. You want to be able to get out safely. And so the idea is you drop down through the floor, although I notice now that I would need to move these pistons one further back, apparently. That's not quite big enough. So I'll correct that for when we get the release version out, and of course this will be up on the workshop as you would expect. And then finally, as I was mentioning, you can be shooting out from inside. I've kind of created these gun slits, which is a bit old school, but very much in the orc theme. And so you'd have your boys in here with their rifles shooting out on top of the firepower the ship itself's got. And of course these guys are pretty well protected. That's quite a small slit to shoot in from the outside, but quite an easy one to shoot out of from the inside. And you can go along, and there's obviously 6 of these, 1 for each of the crew. And that's kind of the interior. There's not a huge amount else to it. It kind of stuck some lights in, made sure the buttons were in easy to access places, but there's not much more to it than that. So, hope you like this one, guys. Bit of a silly design, but I kind of like the whole building to a theme thing, and I'm loving making ground vehicles. I mean, this is not the only one I produced. As I said, I was kind of making test vehicles for this video I want to make, which I'll do on Tuesday, and we'll talk about how wheel mechanics work there. But as you can see, this is not the only one. We've got something that looks like it's straight out of Carmageddon, especially with the spikes on the side, and then we've got sort of almost a Formula 1 car circa 1950, and both of these handle completely differently, so it's great, and I'm really enjoying what the wheel physics mean. And I think I might end up running a competition to see what you guys come up with wheeled vehicles, add some to my, I don't know, my Mad Max collection almost. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit like, please hit subscribe, it really helps me and the channel out, and otherwise I'll catch you next time.